Novels are such a great place to find material for TV shows. They tend to have rich and imaginative stories with worlds in which you can easily lose yourself, full of rich and compelling characters that are well suited to long-form serialized storytelling. It's always exciting to see your favorite books come to life on screen, to see what changes the writers made, and to see how the actors have chosen to bring these characters to life. There are so many television shows out there that you may not even realize some of your favorite shows actually started as novels. Here are the best shows based on books on Netflix. The series Bridgerton is based on books by Julia Quinn. The first season primarily follows the first book titled The Duke and I. Daphne Bridgerton is the oldest daughter in the family, and the show begins with her making her debut into the marriage market of Regency London. Daphne is close with her 7 siblings, and the story follows the group as they navigate this new world. Inspired by the 1839 Edgar Allan Poe short story of the same name, as well as others by the great writer, The Fall of the House of Usher details the brutal and unconventional deaths of a corrupt pharmaceutical company CEO's adult children. The likes of Willa Fitzgerald, Carla Gugino, Cate Siegel, and Mark Hamill excel with the eye-popping gothic style of the story, with fans of Mike Flanagan sure to see his authorial stamp on every frame. Maid is an emotional miniseries from creator Molly Smith Metzler, inspired by the best-selling memoir by Stephanie Land. Maid stars Margaret Qualley as a young woman who escapes an abusive relationship and begins cleaning houses in order to provide for her daughter. In addition to the grounded performances from Qualley and Nick Robinson, Maid also features Qualley's real-life mother, Andie MacDowell, in the role of her mother. Neve Campbell and Manuel Garcia Rulfo co-star in The Lincoln Lawyer, based on the Michael Connelly novels. Adapted for television by David E. Kelly and Ted Humphrey, The Lincoln Lawyer follows Mickey Haller, a lawyer who practices law out of his Lincoln town car. With a clever script, The Lincoln Lawyer weaves drama through action and mystery, with a stellar supporting cast that includes the underrated Becky Newton and Christopher Gorham. Based on the groundbreaking novels by Armistead Maupin, Tales of the City reunites Laura Linney, Paul Gross, Olympia Dukakis, and Barbara Garrick to reprise their memorable roles from the original miniseries of the early 1990s, as well as the subsequent sequels. Shadow and Bone is based on the Grishaverse novels written by Leigh Bardugo. This show is a fun fantasy series that is based on 2 different series of books, the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Six of Crows duology. The Netflix show follows Alina, a mapmaker who discovers an ability to summon light, which will be able to change the tide of the war against dark forces. Separately, a trio of non-magic thieves are tasked with kidnapping Alina and must make their way through treacherous territory. The first 2 seasons capture some of the most unnerving and fascinating elements of serial killers ever put to screen, while being a quite good adaptation of Mindhunter, inside the FBI's elite serial crime unit, written by real-life FBI agents Johnny Douglas and Mark Olshaker to boot. It follows Holden Ford, Bill Tench, and Dr. Wendy Carr as they attempt to gain a comprehensive understanding of the psychology of history's most horrible monsters. The series, which marked the beginning of Mike Flanagan carving out a name for himself in horror television, The Haunting of Hill House, is a loose adaptation from a novel of the same name by Shirley Jackson that becomes something all its own. Told with a great sense of heart and humanity for its characters, it also packs a whole host of scares that hit close to home. Structured around episodes that focus on the struggles of each individual member of a family, the series delicately excavates the pain and peril that has befallen the characters in their own distinct ways. The glitzy world of fashion from the 60s to the 80s is brought to life in the thrilling miniseries Halston, which follows the titular fashion designer as he creates one of the most storied brands in the business. Showrunner Shah White adapted Stephen Gaines's 1991 biography, simply Halston: The Untold Story. Cursed was created by Frank Miller and Tom Wheeler. It was originally an illustrated young adult book that presents a different point of view of the legend of Arthur. The show follows Nimue, a teenage sorceress who has a run-in with Arthur and makes her the protagonist. Arthur's story is told through her eyes as she moves forward in her quest and eventually becomes the powerful Lady of the Lake. The first season of The Sinner is based on Petra Hammersfar's 1999 novel of the same name. The story revolves around Detective Harry Ambrose, who attempts to solve crimes committed by unlikely criminals. In the first season, he looks into a woman's past to figure out why she murdered a man. This show is based on the fantasy trilogy by author Lev Grossman that was first published in 2009. The story follows a college student named Quentin who discovers A, magic exists, and B, he's a magician, and subsequently enters Breakbill's University for Magical Pedagogy to learn the finer points of magic. What he discovers is far beyond his imagination. The Queen's Gambit follows Beth Harmon, a chess prodigy, from her time in an orphanage as a child to her fame playing chess as a teenager and young adult. While the story itself is fictional, it's based on the novel by Walter Tevis. He drew inspiration from the world of competitive chess during the 1950s and 1960s. The Last Kingdom is based on a historical novel series that was written by Bernard Cornwell. It depicts the birth of England and follows Alfred the Great in Utrecht from the years 866 up through the early 1000s BC. The first 8 novels of the series make up the 4 seasons of the show. The fantasy series The Witcher is based on Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski's book series, which has previously been adapted into a popular video game series, a movie, a tabletop role-playing game, another TV show, and comics. The story follows a mutant and monster bounty hunter named Geralt as he attempts to find where he fits in. This premise is based on a series of young adult science fiction novels written by Cass Morgan. It revolves around a post-apocalyptic world where Earth's only survivors are living on a spaceship. 97 years after the nuclear war, they decide to send 100 people back to Earth to see if it is hospitable. This series is an adaptation of the novel Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. It follows Anne, a young orphan, as she begins a new life on Prince Edward Island in the late 1800s. All 3 seasons are available on Netflix and offer a fresh take on the classic story. The wildly popular Starz series Outlander is based on a series of novels written by Diana Gabaldon, who is still writing additional books for the historical fiction series, so there is plenty of material for it to continue. It revolves around Claire, an English combat nurse from 1945, who travels back to 1743. There is just 1 season of The Letter for the King so far on Netflix, as it has not been renewed for a 2nd season. There are currently 6 episodes based loosely on a Dutch novel named De Brief voor de Koning, which was written by Tonke Dracht in 1962. Based on Lemony Snicket's children's book series, A Series of Unfortunate Events has 3 seasons on Netflix. The book series itself has 13 novels within it. Both the show and the book series follow the adventures of 3 children, Violet, Klaus, and Sunny, after the deaths of their parents. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe our channel. You can help us by purchasing our high-quality merch. Link is in the description. See you in the next video.